Everything in Jim Jones's life was going smoothly until a video went viral on Twitter. In the video, reality star Brooke Bailey slapped Jim's son Putty outside a nightclub in Miami. Jim was furious and retaliated by charging at Brooke. The entire incident was captured on camera, but this is where things got crazy. Jim's mother, Mama Jones, and his partner, Chrissy Lamine, confront him about it. They're not just upset, they're disappointed and concerned about how Jim handled it. They claim that Jim worsened it by attacking Brooke when he could have handled it differently. Jim tries to explain himself, claiming that Putty was just relaxing when Brooke slapped him after accusing him of making fun of her. The viral video makes it appear as though he is the villain. But now Brooke Bailey is playing the victim on Instagram, while Jim's reputation is in ruins. Brooke walks away with a $90 million divorce settlement, and Jim is left to pick up the pieces. Was this just bad timing? Or did Brooke trick Jim into the mess that is now ruining his life? It seemed like a typical day in LA, so when Jim Jones, the rapper and Harlem's finest, was going about his usual life in the spotlight. He was no stranger to controversy, but this time it wasn't about his music or his career. Rather, it was about something more personal that would blow up the internet and destroy Jim's reputation one viral video at a time. But let's go back in. Jim wasn't expecting this kind of chaos. He wasn't even in New York, where most of his headlines have been made. This time, he was trying to live a quiet night at a nightclub. But as is often the case in the world of celebrities, sometimes doing so only makes matters worse. What started all of this is crazy. Outside the club, Brooke Bailey, a reality TV star known for her appearances on Basketball Wives and all the drama that goes along with it, suddenly slaps Jim's son Putty across the face. Did you hear that? Oh, the internet was probably anticipating this. Jim's son was allegedly going about his business when Brooke accused him of making fun of her. What exactly Putty said is still up for debate, but it seems like it crossed the line. Brooke never one to back down, goes straight up to Putty and slaps him. It was a moment no one anticipated, especially not from Jim Jones, who is known for being a cool-headed rapper and businessman. However, when it comes to family, everyone knows the rules. You mess with my kid, you mess with me. Jim didn't account for the cameras and the backlash that was about to come crashing down on him. What happens next? As soon as the video goes viral, everyone is talking about it. After Jim witnesses the entire situation, he loses it and charges at Brooke without hesitation. The thing is that when you're in the spotlight, especially as a celebrity, every move you make is scrutinized, analyzed, and twisted into something that the media can't wait to report. However, the real chaos comes from the people closest to Jim and Mama Jones, his protective mother, and Chrissy Lamine, his longtime partner, have a completely unique perspective on the situation. And they don't agree with Jim. Social media is ablaze with opinions, reactions, and, of course, memes. Some people are supporting Jim for protecting his son, while others are criticizing him for doing so. Let's just say that the conversation at Jim's house after the incident wasn't exactly a happy family reunion. Mama Jones was furious because she raised Jim to be a man of respect who thinks before acting. But now that her son had thrown all of that out the window, Chrissy Lumpkin, she was more than just disappointed. She was worried because both women who have witnessed Jim at his best and worst are now worried about the bigger picture. They know how quickly things can go out of control. In the world of fame, this could ruin everything, in their opinion. Jim should have stepped back and considered a different course of action, but in the heat of the moment, he acted rashly, and now they are all stuck cleaning up the mess. What should have been a straightforward family argument turned into a viral catastrophe. And the clever celebrity Brooke Bailey isn't wasting any time in playing the victim, while Jim tries to defend his actions and clear his name. Brooke is sharing her side of the story on Instagram, portraying herself as the innocent party, while Jim is the one who is furious. The killer Brooke Bailey walks away from all of this with a $19 million settlement in her divorce. Talk about hitting the jackpot. Did she know exactly what she was doing all along? Did she trick Jim into reacting the way he did so that she could walk away with a massive payout? We may never know for sure, but she is definitely not complaining. The Jones household was under siege, and Mama Jones and Chrissy Lanen couldn't help but wonder if this was the case. Veneer, who couldn't control his temper. Jim's family dynamic was about to end. It wasn't just a slap that hurt. It was the public's perception of their family as a whole, which was now in a precarious situation. Imagine being pretty one minute, enjoying a night out, and then being slapped by a reality TV star. The bigger problem is that you're now involved in a huge public feud with your father being portrayed as the bad guy. Jim could already feel the heat from the public and those closest to him, especially Chrissy Lanen, his longtime partner, who had been through it all with him. In the meantime, Mama Jones, the matriarch, was not about to allow her son to be viewed as the antagonist in this situation. She had brought Jim up to be a man of respect and control his temper, but she didn't anticipate that he would be so emotionally charged that he couldn't see past the heat of the moment. As things began to spiral out of control, Jim attempted to defend his actions, saying that he wasn't just defending his son, he was defending his family, and he wasn't going to back down. But the damage had already been done. The viral video was all over, and even though Jim's version of events made sense to him, it wouldn't be enough to repair the harm in the public eye. Jim's life was now connected to this moment, and as more people watched it, they felt as though they were witnessing an emotional breakdown. Some people were quick to draw conclusions, but that's just the way things work in the world of social media. When you're famous, your mistakes become everyone's amusement. As we saw in part 1, Jim Jones had no idea what happened next. The public quickly joined the bandwagon after the viral video of Brooke Bailey slapping his son Putty outside a nightclub went viral, and despite Jim's best efforts to defend his actions, his reputation took a serious hit. Brooke, a reality TV star who is no stranger to controversy, was playing the victim card like a pro. Now that the video was out there, the fallout was inevitable. And Jim was trying to resume his life, but the pressure was on. His longtime partner, his family, and even his mother, Mama Jones, were all watching. Trust me, they weren't happy with what Jim had done. Chrissy Lanen, Jim's girlfriend of more than 10 years, had been there through all of his ups and downs, but this time was different. She was worried about their future and not just the public backlash. She had witnessed Jim make mistakes in the past, but this time it felt more personal. Chrissy's main concern wasn't just about the viral video. It was that Jim didn't pause to think before charging at Brooke. This wasn't the kind of reaction she would have expected from a grown man. If Jim had just taken a moment to take a step back, things could have gone very differently. But instead, he acted like a man on a mission, and now their lives were in a precarious situation. However, this wasn't just about Jim and Chrissy. Mama Jones was in full-on boss mode, and she wasn't going to tolerate this. She had taught Jim the importance of patience and self-control, and he let his anger get the better of him. Mama Jones wasn't upset because Jim defended his son. Rather, she was because he didn't handle the situation appropriately. As much as Jim tried to defend his actions, the internet had already made up its mind. And once the video went viral, there was no going back. The entire world was watching Jim's every move, and they weren't holding back. They were already dragging him through the mud, calling him toxic, violent, and insane. It was all about protecting their reputation and legacy. And now that legacy was in jeopardy because Jim couldn't back down. Now, let's talk about the internet's reaction. A loop that fueled the fire of public opinion. #JimJohnSexist was trending all over Twitter, and there was no escaping it, while Brooke Bailey was busy doing what she does best, playing the victim. She knew exactly how to use social media and the media to her advantage, so she took to Instagram to share her side of the story, explaining how she had been wronged and how Jim was at fault. It didn't take long for the outpouring of sympathy to occur. And Brooke's supporters were quick to offer their praise. Asterisk, in the midst of all this drama, it was revealed that Brooke had left her marriage with a $19 million settlement. I don't know about you, but I'm raising an eyebrow here. Was this all part of some carefully calculated move? Did Brooke somehow know exactly what she was doing when she slapped Putty? Was Jim's reaction exactly what she needed to cash out big time? Brooke. Bailey's Media. They have always been proud of their solidarity. They have endured a great deal together. This time, though, is different, since Jim's actions have permanently harmed their reputation. Chrissy Lumpkin was Jim's business partner, right-hand man, an emotional support system in addition to being his partner. But after this episode, Chrissy started to lose faith in Jim. After everything that had transpired, was she really able to remain with Jim? Could she stand by someone who had done something careless and perhaps ruined everything they owned? For her, it was a tough pill to accept. And Chrissy began to question her future with Mama Jones and Jim. Even Mama Jones, who had taught Jim the principles he had long upheld, was now powerless to protect her son. She was beginning to question whether Jim had completely lost his path, and she knew he had gone too far. How might Jim clean up this mess? Could he ever win back the public's trust? One thing is certain, though. Jim would need a miracle to restore his connection with Chrissy, his mother, and the public. That's a matter for the future. It is clear that this story is far from done, as the entire world has seen the aftermath of the notorious incident involving Jim Jones and Brooke Bailey. After the controversy hit him hard, Jim was in damage control mode, with every social media post and interview being closely watched. Brooke Bailey was still basking in the glory of her new victim status, and there was no way out of the roaring internet inferno. But the real question is how long she would play this game and how far she would go to maintain her status as the center of attention. Let's look at the drama's long-term consequences and how much damage it has done to their respective careers. For Jim Jones is a crucial time. Although he has had public feuds, reality TV moments, and controversies prior to his rap career, nothing has affected him as severely, swiftly, and widely. Instead of being a quick, sporadic film that would disappear after a few days, the footage of him screaming at Brooke in a fit of rage remains like a bad reputation, and Jim is currently in throughout. His career and personal life, Jim Jones has always been a fighter, but it wasn't just any fight. His response to Brooke's smack was impulsive, emotional, and careless, the kind of moment from which it's difficult to bounce back in the spotlight. He slapped back not just at a single individual, but at his entire reputation, his family, and his profession. What will happen to Jim Jones next? Can he bounce back from this humiliation in public? Humiliation? Or has he finally lost it over this drama? Public outcry and legal drama in these kinds of circumstances. One aspect that is frequently disregarded is the legal ramifications. Questions about who is being sued, who is being investigated, and what legal ramifications may arise are inevitable when something this significant occurs. Let's face it, Brooke Bailey and Jim Jones will both be held somehow responsible for this incident. Even though we haven't actually talked about the legal aspect of it, there was a physical altercation, and as we have repeatedly witnessed, the law takes these incidents seriously. Now, imagine the headlines. Jim Jones is under investigation for assaulting Brooke Bailey. Or Brooke Bailey faces assault charges for slapping Jim Jones' son. Both of these scenarios would enrage the tabloids and cause further controversy. Legal issues only worsen the situation in the public's perception and frequently last for years. The perception of Brooke as a victim can rapidly shift if the courts become involved. It's not only about Brooke. She might have to pay damages or face penalties for her meticulously crafted victim story. Jim's actions have already damaged his reputation, and now he could face legal consequences. Ultimately, despite his emotionally aroused outburst, there was a physical altercation, and the law might see his aggressive reaction as more than merely defending his family. Will Jim's assault of Brooke result in any legal ramifications? One should not rule out the idea. What about their professional lives? We should make a change. After the controversy, how long can Jim and Brooke continue to enjoy their success? In the entertainment industry, Jim Jones has built his career on street reputation, family, and devotion. But this most recent disaster demonstrates that loyalty can only go so far when emotions take over. His reputation as a strong, protective parent has been damaged, whether he likes it or not, and he is now viewed as a hothead who acts without thinking, which could harm his Your Music career might quickly take a plunge. If people stop believing in you and don't think you're a credible person, this is because the entertainment industry can be brutal, and corporate sponsors don't want to be linked with someone who is perceived as a problem. Furthermore, sponsors may withdraw, terminate contracts, and close doors as a result of how the public views Jim's behavior. Jim could thus have to scramble to stay relevant in a world that forgets you faster than you can blink. Brooke Bailey isn't completely gone, though. But it's true that she's using the victim story to her advantage. But how much longer will the public tolerate Brooke's victimization? And let's not forget the $19 million divorce settlement. We're talking about a giant sum of money here. And we all know how these things go. Will people become tired of hearing her side of the story on Instagram over and over again before they begin to question what's her angle? Was this a one-off event, or did Brooke truly earn the payout? She is being watched intently by the public, who are waiting for her to make a mistake. People will start to question whether there is more to the tale than what Brooke is disclosing. The more she plays the victim, Jim Jones and Brooke Bailey ultimately pay a price for their notoriety and scandal. The world will not quickly forget this tragedy, despite his best efforts to move on. His reputation has been severely tarnished. He still has public relations work to do, but is it sufficient? Although Brooke might appear to be the one even though the drama is far from done. One thing is for sure. Will Jim Jones be able to return after everything that has happened? Or has this scandal been the last straw for his career? Will the reaction overtake Brooke Bailey's departure, or will she continue to ride the wave of sympathy? Scandals tend to catch up with you, as history has demonstrated. We can state with certainty that this controversy has permanently altered both of their careers. It remains to be seen if they can repair their shattered reputations or give in to the harshness of public opinion. Folks, there you have it. The circumstances surrounding the Jim Jones and Brooke Bailey controversy have taken unforeseen turns. What are your thoughts? Can Jim move on from this? Or is this the end of his career? How about Brooke? Is her time in the spotlight coming to an end, or will she keep writing victim narratives? Kindly leave a comment below with your opinions. Subscribe and click the bell icon to receive more exclusive updates on this drama and other celebrity rumors. Keep an eye out for any surprises that may come up. Await further shocking disclosures.